I've been living on my own for 2 weeks now because my mother recently died. She was buried by the whole family. I still can't get over the loss. I never knew my father. All I have left is my cat, and it seems to me that I am slowly starting to go crazy. Yesterday, I returned home from work at 3 in the morning, had dinner, and went to bed. The mobile phone, as usual, was placed on the nightstand at the head of the bed. And so, in the morning, they called me. In my sleep, I pressed the answer button and heard, "Hello, son. Listen, I already left for work. Could you take the chicken out of the freezer? I'll cook something tonight." "Okay, Mom," I answered through my sleep and hung up. Half a minute later, I was already standing over the bathroom sink, washing my face with cold water. I was shivering. I wonder who could joke like that. But it was her voice. I thought for a long time and eventually came to a lackluster conclusion. Well, some idiots were joking, so what? With these thoughts, I went to the kitchen to make my morning coffee. There was chicken in the sink. If it weren't for the morning drowsiness, I probably would have fallen into hysterics. But my legs just gave way. I'm sitting, shaking, but I don't have the courage to get up and do something with this chicken. And then the doorbell rang. Opening the door, I saw the postman. He handed me a letter. The letter had no return address and no name of the addressee. I go to the kitchen, start to open the envelope and see. The sink is empty. Not a trace of the damn chicken. I put the letter aside, looked into the freezer, and she was lying there, frozen in pieces of ice. From her appearance, it was clear that she had not been taken out for a week from the very moment she was put there. The psyche, crippled by the death of a loved one, still makes itself felt, I thought. He returned to the letter, took out a folded piece of paper and began to read. "Dear Laura Johnson," that was my mother's name, "we offer you our sincere condolences on the death of your son." What the fuck? Flashed through my head. I fell into a stupor. What happens? A letter without a return address comes from my place of work with my obituary, and they know that she died. I took money from the mutual aid fund for the funeral, and my bosses organized a vacation for a week for me. In the end, I decided to deal with all this devilry when I arrived from work, got dressed and left. At work, I asked leading questions in the personnel department and in the supply department. Not directly, of course, but given that they looked at me like an idiot, I realized. Someone seriously decided to piss me off or put me in a fool. After working for a day with such gloomy thoughts, I went home. I entered the apartment and immediately noticed a strange smell from my mother's room. Has the cat really gone to relieve himself where he shouldn't have again? I took a rag from the bathroom, went into my mother's room and actually saw a stain on the bed. I turned on the light and almost had a heart attack. I broke out in a cold sweat. My chest felt tight. All I could do was sag like a bag on the floor and convulsively gasp for air. On the mother's bed, there was a red-brown stain on half the sheet. To say that I was crazy is an understatement. I don't remember how I crumpled up this sheet and threw it into the garbage chute. Probably this is what criminologists call a state of passion. I remember myself already in the kitchen, knocking over a glass of vodka. And now I'm sitting on the internet and typing this text in order to somehow systematize what's happening to me. To my right is a letter about my death, dated tomorrow, and to my left is a phone that has been ringing for 5 minutes. My mother calls me, and her turned-off mobile phone is in the next room. I don't want to answer this call, I really don't want to. But the phone doesn't want to calm down. If I manage to survive this night without going crazy, then tomorrow I will have to go to work on the night shift. But I don't want to die,